Hey y'all, it's Hans. Welcome back to the HansETX YouTube channel. A lot of you may know me as the co-host on the Late Night Vision Show podcast. Also, if you call Outdoor Legacy and you're looking to buy a new or thermal scope, there's a good chance when you call to ask questions, you're probably going to get a hold of me or Jason. Jason, as you know, the other co-host of the Late Night Vision Show. But thank you for joining us right here. The HansETX YouTube channel is all about it's mostly scope reviews. We do a lot of hog and predator hunts, but we've got so many scope reviews that we do throughout the year that really takes up a majority amount of time. Now, here in recent years, there's so many optics that are hitting the market, way more than there used to be back many, many years ago when we first got into it. You may get 4 new scopes a year. Now you're getting 4. It seems like every month you're getting a brand new optic. So we are reviewing, I'll just jump into it. Today we're reviewing, this is the Talion, the Pulsar Talion XG35. Now we've already reviewed on this channel and on the podcast, the Late Night Vision Show, we've already reviewed the Pulsar Talion XQ38. We're going to talk about the Talion XQ38 versus the XG35, the differences. Is, you know, the 640 worth it over the 384 resolution? We're going to get into all of that. We're going to show a bunch of video, run down the specs, walk around the scope a little bit. But first of all, if you're looking to purchase a night vision or thermal optic, you can give us a call, Outdoor Legacy, at 877-350-1818. You can hop on the website, outdoorlegacygear.com, check it out there. But if you have questions, the best thing to do is just call. You can talk to me directly. You can call up and ask for Hans. I test all these optics. Jason tests all these optics. Our other salesman, Ashley, we all test this stuff out in the field. We hunt with it. We get a lot of video. What you see in the review videos is a small fraction amount of video that we take. But we use these things a lot in all conditions right here in East Texas. Coyote hunting, hog hunting, we're doing it all. So anyway, the Talion XG35, we're going to jump into the specs. And again, we're going to talk about the Talion XQ38, is it worth it for the 384 resolution? You know, save a little bit of money, or do you need to jump up to the 640 resolution Talion XG35? Running the specs right now, then we'll do a walk around on the scope. Okay, so the price. This is a very, before we get into it, I'm going to make this review twice as long as it needs to be, but this is, the Talion series is a very important model for Pulsar, I believe. The Talion XQ38 comes in at $2,500. That's a very important price point for them. It gets them a model in that what's considered entry-level thermal. And now this Talion XG35 at $4,300, $4,299.97 to be exact, but right at $4,300, that gets them a 640 resolution model in that now popular $4,000 range for 640 resolution optics. I mean, there's more and more scope companies that are, you know, the 640 prices are coming down. Pulsar didn't have an optic, a 640 resolution optic in that price point. So I think this is important, as well as the little brother, the XQ38 is important because it's a price point and it's a model that Pulsar has in that price point that makes them even more competitive. So anyway, I already spilled the beans on the price, right at $4,300 or just under $4,300. It is a 640 by 480 thermal core resolution, 12 micron. So this follows, you know, y'all have heard of the Thermion XG50, which is a 12 micron. But most of the other, I'll say all the other Pulsar optics are 17 micron, but this is a 12 micron. 50 hertz refresh rate. It's got a -40 NETD thermal sensor rating. It starts at 2 power, goes up to 16 power. It does have all the Pulsar features that everybody loves: video and audio recording, picture-in-picture display. It's got more reticle choices than any other scopes that I know of, more reticle color options, more color palette options. It does have Wi-Fi to the Stream Vision app. It weighs, and when we say this is fully loaded, which means with the mount and with the battery in it, 29.5 ounces, which is, I would say, significantly less, about 10 ounces less, or maybe a little bit more than the Thermion. So it is a lighter, more small, compact scope compared to the Thermion design. On our bench test on the battery life, we did run it. It does take a Pulsar APS 5T battery. and you're going to expect to get about 6.5 hours of runtime in good conditions, which means 70 something degrees, whatever it is in my house right now. And you know, that's without turning it on and off. That's turning it on, leaving it on in, you know, good temperatures. If it's colder than that, you can expect to get a little bit less runtime. The great thing though is it is a fully removable battery, so you can take that battery out. It says it's got close to or almost a 2,000 yard detection range. I would say more realistically, the ID range on a small animal like a coyote versus a small deer is going to be more like 400 to 500 yards. A larger animal, it's going to be a little bit further than 400 to 500 yards. Maybe if it's a hog and a deer, you're trying to tell a difference. I mean, that might be 600 yards, but somewhere in that range. And it does come with the Pulsar 3-year warranty. So those are all the important specs. Let's look at this scope. If you've seen the Talion XQ38, you kind of know what this design looks like. Jason and I have made fun of it when it first came out. We said it looks like a Maglite flashlight. It kind of does, but it is smaller, more compact than the Thermion design. It is lighter weight. The great thing about it, and we'll get into the likes, but really, you know, it's got this nice spring-loaded flip open lens cap. The focus adjustment is actually right here. This twist right here on top is this whole, almost the bell of the lens twists off. The blue button, that's hard to say, is right here on the back. That's the power button. And then you do have your battery compartment. There's a switch right here. You flip that over. I'm not going to, demonstrations on live camera never work out well, but you flip that open, the door comes up, the battery completely removes all the way up. There's a lot of ingenuity and design in this optic. You have your buttons right here on top. So everything, this is what I would consider an ambidextrous style scope. You've got your buttons here on top, your, you know, magnification, recording, all the ones you're going to use at night. When you can't see very well are going to be right here. But it also has this turn dial. I hope the camera's focusing. But this turn dial is what you use to navigate through the main menu. It's really cool design. I mean, really nothing like it on the market right now. And that's a great thing about Pulsar. You're going to get a lot of ingenuity when it comes to the design of their optics. It does have an eyepiece diopter focus right here on the end, so you can turn that to focus your eye to the screen, to the numbers and the letters on the screen. And then we talked about the objective lens focus. I have an upgraded, this is a D-Lock mount, $250. It is a return to zero mount that we sell at outdoorlegacygear.com. We do recommend this one for the Thermion, for the Talion. If you're wanting to take this optic off your rifle, maybe use it as a scanner, and then if you're swapping scopes or if you're taking your scope off on and off quite a bit, you're going to want a quick release mount. That's just, there's no way around it. It does come with the mount that it comes with. There's nothing wrong with it, but it is not a return to zero mount. You're going to have to resight it in every time you take it off the rifle. Just so you know, if you plan on putting it on a rifle and leaving it on the rifle from here on out, no big deal, not a problem. All right. Let's talk about the dislikes. Let's talk about the likes, and then we'll talk about the XQ38 Talion versus the XG35 Talion and if it's worth it. So first of all, the dislikes. I would say that the first thing we always talk about, it does have to take a proprietary battery. That means it's a battery made by Pulsar. You can only buy it through a dealer that's licensed to sell Pulsar optics. It's not a 18650 or it's not a CR123. These are batteries that you can only get through Outdoor Legacy. They're not that expensive, less than $100 for a battery, but you can, if you feel like you need more runtime than 6.5 hours, you might want to pick up an extra battery. But these are batteries that are proprietary to Pulsar. It is, I would say, a little bit larger than what you would really consider a compact thermal scope. There's a lot of compact thermal scopes on the market. This is almost like an in-between. You can scan with it, and this is going to look really goofy on camera. You can scan with it if you want to. Take it off the rifle, scan with it. It is small enough to do that. But it is, I'd say, about 3 inches longer than most of the compact scopes. So I do think it's still somewhat in the compact category, but it is on the larger end of the scale of a compact thermal scope. It's much, much smaller than the Thermion or the tube style design of scopes, much smaller, so that's great. I would say those are really the only dislikes on it, is just the proprietary battery, and it's a little bit larger than a subcompact scope. I'd say the advantages or the likes to it, the design, the ingenuity. We talked about the dial up here. There's a lot of thought process into making this thing efficient, easy to be used in the dark. The buttons are big. You can definitely use it with gloves. This turn dial makes it easy to use with gloves at night in cold weather. You know, if you can't, you got to keep your hands covered. So the thought process, I think they did a great job doing that. I talked about the fact that it's smaller than the Thermion design, much smaller, about 10 ounces less, fully loaded, and significantly shorter than the Thermion design. Picture image is very good for a $4,300 640 resolution scope, you know, to get 400 to 600 yard ID range on a larger animal, you know, 400 to 500 yards on a smaller animal, I think is good, and it's right in line with what you expect for spending $4,300 for a 640 resolution scope. But it does, I mean, you look through it and you know you're looking at 640 resolution, and it does have a very sharp picture image. I really like the fact that it does have a fully removable battery. So, you know, you can take that battery out. It's not internal, meaning that you can't remove it ever. The battery is fully removable. You can take it out. If the battery ever goes bad in 3 or 4 years, you can toss it away and get you another one. But fully removable battery, that's fantastic. And I would say that the price, I mean, $4,300, it's the least expensive 640 resolution scope that Pulsar has on the market, and they did that strategically to get them down there in that price point. And I think that they did a good job with the Talion, and people really love the Talion design, and it's grown on me as well, I will say. And there's a lot of people that we've sold these to that really like them. The great thing is you're paying $4,300, you're getting a 640 resolution scope, but you're still getting all the Pulsar features that people like: video and audio recording. You're getting the Wi-Fi. You're getting all the color palettes, the picture-in-picture. They didn't skimp on any of the features at all. You're still it's not stripped down. You're still getting all the great features, but you're getting a different style of scope, meaning the form factor is different than their traditional Thermion. You know, and you're getting this at a reduced price at $4,300. So, likes, dislikes. Let's talk about why all of y'all are here watching this video probably, and that is to talk about the Talion XQ38 versus the Talion XG35. Let's run down the quick differences. The Talion XQ38, whenever you see XQ, that means it's a 384 resolution. If you see an XG within the name of a Pulsar product, that means it's a 640 resolution. So the XQ is a 2.5 to 10 power optic, and it is a 384 resolution. Looks almost identical to this. The objective lens on it, I mean, they're almost the same. You know, you look at it, if you held one up, it'd be really hard to tell the difference, to tell you the truth. Now, the Talion XG35, that is a 2 to 16 power, so a little bit less base magnification, but more high-end magnification. So that's an 8 times digital zoom. The XQ38 is a 4 times digital zoom. So the XG35, 2 to 16 power, 640 resolution. Now, is it worth the upgrade? I'll say 640 resolution is always worth the extra money. It always is worth, you know, there's the price difference. You know, the XQ38 is $2,500. This is $4,300. You're looking at a difference of roughly $1,800. So I would say 640 resolution is worth the money, but I would say this, and not a lot of people that work for a thermal company, I think, would say this: 640 is only worth the money if this is something that you're going to be using quite a bit. If you're going to go out and use a thermal scope 2, 3, 4 times a year, I don't know that 640 resolution is worth it. If you are hunting several times a week, several times a month, several times a year, you probably are going to want 640. And if you buy a 384 resolution and you're hunting that much, at some point you're going to want to step up to a 640 resolution scope, and that's great. But if this is something that you don't know that this is going to be a big hobby for you, or you just want it for very casual use, I mean, I would say the 384 resolution is just fine. But again, if this is something you're going to be using quite a bit, if this is your hobby, this is what you love to do, you're going to want 640 resolution, and it is worth the money. Now, practically, talking about these scopes practically, the XQ38, the ID range on that 384 resolution scope is 200 to 300 yards. The ID range, as we talked about on the 640 resolution Talion XG35, is anywhere from 400 to 600 yards on larger animals. So you're getting almost double the ID range. So if you're hunting in areas where you feel like you need to ID animals further, if you're hunting coyotes, and you want to make sure that you're getting a good ID on that animal at a little bit further away, you're going to want 640 resolution. I think that the 2-power, this 2-power optic with the XG35, you're going to have a wide field of view, and it's a little bit wider field of view than the 384 resolution XQ38. But it's great, I think, for anybody that their average shot is going to be under 150 yards. And I would say that would be true for both of them, the XQ38 and the XG35. So if your average shot is under 150 yards, I think that magnification level is great. If your average shot is over 150 yards, I think we need to talk to you about an optic that has a 3-power base magnification. And there, Pulsar's got a 3-power base scope that we can talk about, and if that's a conversation you want to have. But again, the XG35 is worth the additional money. It does have a significantly sharper picture image. It is 640 resolution. It does have a further ID range. It does have a little bit further effective shooting range. So if you hunt a lot, or you may say, I don't hunt that much, but gosh dang it, I want a 640 resolution scope, then so be it. But I don't think, and we've said this for a long time, having a 640 resolution scope is not necessarily going to make you more successful shooting hogs or shooting coyotes. It's going to look better when you're doing it. The videos are going to look a lot better. It's going to be sharper. You're going to be able to ID that animal a lot further, but it not necessarily make you more successful. 384 resolution scopes are very capable. They're very efficient. There's probably more of those floating around than any other resolution style scope. So, but the Talion XG35 is a great buy if you're looking to buy an optic. And if you saw this and you're more confused than you were before you watched it, give me a call, 877-350-1818, outdoorlegacygear.com. We can talk about both the Talion optics. We can talk about how it compares to the Thermion. We can talk about it all the Pulsar products. We have them on the website. You can see it there. Or if you want to talk about how this scope compares to any other scope out on the market, we've tested just about all of them. There's a certain brand that y'all know that we don't sell, but we're testing everything else. So thank y'all for joining me right here on the HansETX YouTube channel. Thank y'all. Man, so many of y'all call and say, Hans, I watched you on the Late Night Vision show. That warms my heart to be able to know that all the work that we do on the podcast, because it is a lot of work. We've done an episode a week for the past 267 weeks, and we, knock on wood, we have not missed a week. But to know that that hard work pays off, and that you call and you watch the show and you're calling because you trust us, means a lot. It really does. And we'd love to have your business. We want to earn your trust. And thank y'all for watching. And we're going to get back to hunting. I promise. I've got hunting videos stacking up that we got to get to, but this scope has been out for a long time, and I'm just now getting a chance to review it. So thank you for being patient with me. We'll see y'all next time. Y'all stay safe in the fields and keep making them bacon pancakes.